Okay, so this is a piston for a Titan 440. I can get these on eBay with the right here, the fluid section rebuild kit for $20 actually. Wow, that's a Titan. I didn't even notice that. Titan, probably not even genuine. It's probably crap, but it doesn't matter. And the reason that these work really well is because they're really, really simple to work on. One of the things that's unique about Titan versus Graco is the piston. It is impossible for the piston to touch the cylinder because see this big piece of plastic right here? It protects the cylinders way to the outside of this plastic where those O-rings are on the outside, and that fits in there and then goes over your piston. So your piston goes in here, and then the top portion goes where the red plug is. It goes in there. You use that red plug as a guide. You push the thing in. Literally, you can. These are the parts. The only parts you'll probably ever need for this rig. This rig here is very old. This is like, well, from the, I don't know, I think the late 80s. I didn't buy it new. I bought it used, and you know, and we messed around. My guys put a wheelchair thing on it just for the heck of it. I don't know why, but it says Titan on there. They just stuck that on there for the heck of it, just for shits and giggles. But anyway, we've replaced these pistons, and I can literally do this piston replacement in about 30 minutes. So, and there's almost, you know, it really takes a genius to screw this up, to do these things wrong. So it's really not that hard to do. It's a really easy rig to rebuild. The parts are super cheap to rebuild them. Titan's gonna hate me. They're gonna say, you buy the original Titan ones. Well, I buy them every once in a while. Like we had one go out the other day, and we were running. Now this isn't an original one, but you know, that's pretty much all you need with this rig. Plus, the other thing that happens on spray rigs, and this is a 0.55 gallons per minute, which is pretty much the minimum you need. Everybody goes, well, Mike, why don't you use a big, 440i? Well, I have one. I have a 440i, or not a 440i, a big 4000. I have a 4000, but honestly, this thing, unless I'm doing Elastomeric or something like that, it isn't even worth getting it out. Because the problem with the big rigs is when they suck stuff up the siphon tube, okay, up the siphon tube here, is you get a burp unless you run a 5 all the time. So at some point during the time when you're in that 440i, or I mean the 4000 versus the 440, you're going to pick up air. It's weird when it gets down to about right here on the big rig. It starts, because it has such a long throw, it starts to pick up a little bit of air, and you get a spit in your paint. So about halfway through your 5, if you don't keep filling it up, then you're constantly getting a little bit of a spit, and that's pretty irritating for me because I don't want to cover all this stuff, and I don't have to cover near as much by using this rig because it primes really well. I mean, I can prime into I've actually took 50 foot of line, primed into a quart, and painted a garage door with a 211. So that's the reason that I use Titan. I used to use Graco, like I said, but Graco, I was paying $200 for a cylinder, $150 for a piston, and then a packing kit. It's costing me $300 or $400 every time I had to rebuild the stupid thing. And this thing cost me $20. That just adds up real quick. And this thing's been just as sturdy, just as strong, and puts out just as much paint, holds a nice even pressure. It's not quite as even as the Graco. That's one of the things that Graco does really well, is they have a really even pressure. You get a little bit of a fluctuation with this rig, but not enough to really worry about. So the other thing I always like to run, usually I replace my line every couple of years, even if it's not, you don't wait till this stuff, if you use your line, don't wait till it leaks. to replace it. That's just idiotic. Change it every couple of years. And I use Graco line. Then I use a silver gun. This is Silver Plus, same thing. Graco silver gun for my spray, because it's lighter and it gives you less painter fatigue and a whole bunch of other things that go along with that. So anyway, that's my rig. That's what I use mostly. I do have a 4000. I have for when I'm doing parking structures and stuff like that, when I'm blowing through fives, then I'll get the 4000 out and we'll run that. And but I have like a few of these, and these really do the job. And we even have the Graco 3500, but like I said, I can't use it with elastomeric. Really, it doesn't. It puts out enough to run elastomeric, but you'll burn the clutches out trying to use it. So I don't use it for elastomeric, and I don't really like to use it much unless if I'm doing a fence or something like that, and I don't have any stuff around. But typically, I'll even take this, and I have my Ryobi generator. I used to have the little Honda EU 2000, and I chucked that thing because it blew up on me. And bought myself a Ryobi, and haven't had any problems since, and it actually has more power, so I went to that. And I'll plug this thing into the Ryobi, and it works really well with an inverter generator because it does have electronic parts in it, so you don't want to just run it on any generator, but with the inverter generator, it works really well. So anyway, that's it for the spray rig basics. Definitely, if you're looking to buy a spray rig, if you want to buy a nice new one or something like that, steer away from something less than around a half a gallon per minute. Right around there. Anything less than that is not going to put out enough paint for you to have a decent sized tip to get the job done. You can almost roll faster than you can spray with those little ones. So, or you have the pressure up way too high, you're blowing over spray everywhere, you have to clean up a lot more. It's just not worth it. Spend the extra money and get yourself a half a gallon a minute pump. All right, so I'll talk to you in the next video.